Gemini models from Google and even Claude models can sometimes hallucinate quite a lot when you're dealing with spec-driven development. Gemini models in particular can be quite lazy and struggle to follow through with the details that they're given. Claude models, on the other hand, do this at a lesser extent, and they're definitely not lazy. However, at times, Claude models can make a lot of excuses when trying to get multiple tasks done. And don't get me wrong, we've seen various frameworks like OpenSpec or even spec-kit, which are spec-driven, meaning that they focus on detailed steps that a model can follow to tackle a task without hallucinating. And most of the time, it's actually something that works quite well. But there is a new trending GitHub repo that has over 74k stars in the last 2 months, and this is a new workflow that's called Superpowers. It's a fully autonomous development workflow that works very differently from common spec-driven workflows. Superpower is a complete software development workflow for your coding agents. It works with Claude Code, Codex, and many other CLI tools. It's built on top of a set of composable skills and some initial instructions that make your agent actually use them. And I know right away your first thought is going to be why use superpowers over OpenSpec or SpecKit. Well, the reason is because OpenSpec or SpecKit or even BMAD, all these spec-driven workflows mainly focus on turning ideas or conversations into structured specifications and task lists that an AI coding agent can use to implement. In contrast, Superpowers goes much further by providing a complete development workflow for AI agents. It automatically guides them through brainstorming, the design, generating a spec, creating a detailed implementation plan. For example, just take a look at how a developer on X created a command line Space Invaders game that was fully vibe coded within Cloud Code and having it powered by the superpowers. You can see that there's multiple features, and all of these features were fully built out thanks to the autonomous functionality of superpowers. The game was written in Rust, and it was something that runs at over 20k FPS. It includes audio, and this is all fully coded out with the machine gun, the flamethrower power ups, and other features that the model was able to develop thanks to superpowers using its skill to develop it. That exact same prompt was sent in to Claude, and this is obviously the chat interface. And I'm not saying it doesn't do bad, but I used extended thinking mode as well. And this is where I had created this Space Invaders game. Now, the same specs, the same attributes that I had requested superpowers within Claude Code to generate was generated with this quality from Claude inside the Claude AI chatbot. And I'm not saying it's horrible because it did do a pretty great job, but you can see that the quality is still not on the same level as what we see with superpowers, which is why you see so many people using superpowers right now. You can clearly see that this is still a little laggy, it's still bugged out, doesn't work as the same sort of quality that we saw previously from the other generation with superpower and Claude Code generating this invaders game. So this is what we're going to be showcasing throughout today's video, showcasing how you can get started with superpowers within your coding agent to supercharge your AI workflow. If you want the best AI tools, workflows, and drops before everyone else, join my free newsletter with the link in the description below, which is completely free. Now, to get started, you can work with this directly within any AI coding agent. I prefer to use it within Claude Code because I believe it is going to be able to be baked in seamlessly with Claude Code agents as well as the sub agents. You can use Codex, you can use whatever AI coding agent you want to use. It is super simple where you just need to run the fetch and follow instruction for Codex, OpenCode, or any other AI coding agent like Hilo, for example. And once you have sent in that request, it will then work on fetching it and installing it directly to your AI coding agent. But if you're working with Claude Code or with Cursor, you can install it via the plugin marketplace. So what we're going to do in our case, since we're using it within Claude Code, we can register the marketplace first by using the slash plugin command to add Superpowers as marketplace directly within Claude Code. So once you have Claude Code installed, you can open up your command prompt and then you can open up Claude by using the Claude command. And once you have it opened up, you can paste in the slash marketplace command and that will add in the marketplace superpowers. And what you got to do next is install the superpowers plugin directly to your Claude Code instance. And here is a list of autonomous functions that you can use with the superpower skill with your Claude Code instance in this case. You can have it with test driven development, you can have it debug, You can collaborate. All you got to do is just simply have it mentioned within your prompt where you want to use superpowers for this particular use case. So once you have superpowers working within your agent, like Claude Code, for example, like I had mentioned, you have the ability to use these key skills where you can easily start up once you prompt the specific word of what you're trying to do, like brainstorming, for example, before any creative or feature work. Now, what I'm going to be doing is directly telling superpowers to work on a specific goal that it can automatically trigger. Like have it first work on designing goals, like a futuristic AI aesthetic website. What I'm trying to do is have it work upon building a visually stunning landing page for an AI company, for example. This is where I wanted to focus on these particular components, like using this tech stack, the design goals, as well as the key features, and a couple of important things that I wanted to focus on. So, this is where I have listed out that use Superpowers workflow to brainstorm the design, generate the specs, create the implementation plan, and break the task into small steps and implement a landing page. Then you can let Superpower run the agentic workflow that it has built. And this is where it can focus on all of these different elements. And you can see right away that it is going to ask a couple of different questions to clarify the intent as well as what specific specs that it needs to generate based off of my preference to generate this landing page. This is where it's going to ask you a couple of different clarifying questions. And then it is going to start developing the specs that the AI agents need to follow. One clarifying question is this a complete rebuild of an existing landing page I have or a new standalone file? So I can quickly just specify that this is a new standalone file. Then, based off of all the specs that you had provided, it is actually going to propose 2 to 3 different approaches as to what sort of plan it will execute. Approach A is where it's going to create the single HTML file with inline shaders, which is the recommended path. It talks about what it's going to do as well as the trade offs. And obviously, if you would like to add in more requests to any of these approach, you can simply just request the Claude Code agent that you want to add in something to these different approaches. I know when you vibe code and you autonomously give AI coding agents full flexibility, it could get a bit messy. But in this case, when you're working with Claude Code, you have the ability to approve each individual command. When you're specifying the specs, especially, that is where you can easily tell your AI coding agent that this is the certain specs that you want to focus on. And like in this case, when you're trying to overview many of these different components like the shader and visual system, like if it looks something aligned to what you're trying to have it code out, then you can have it obviously approved. But if you want to add in specifications on change any of these different visual elements, you can just request it to the Claude Code agent. You'll then see that it has created a landing page MD, and this is essentially the implementation plan that is fully executable now with different sub agents or with a parallel session. I would recommend that you use sub agents to easily have this fully completed. And it is going to then work upon executing the implementation plan. And obviously, if you want to change some things, then you can obviously tweak it within the implementation plan. But now it is going to then use the spec driven workflow to autonomously build out the landing page. And there we go. It was able to create the flowing plasma shader. And this is something that I've never seen a model actually create. I don't know if I'll dig the design, but I'll showcase another design that I had created. It still can be refined further, but the fact that it was able to also add in the 3D motion, the glass morphism function with these card holders, with the core capabilities, the number animations, all these components have been fully generated. This is a pretty decent site that was fully coded out and it had done a great job with interactive visuals. Then I used another approach to generate a landing page with different visuals and different shaders. This is where it had created a pretty cool looking interactive landing page for a company. You can see the background gradient noise. You can also see the carousel. There's also 3D visuals that have been coded out, which is actually pretty cool and unique. So this is actually a really nice landing page that the Cloud Code agent had developed with superpowers using its skill and approach to generate this nice detailed landing page. If you like this video and would love to support the channel, you can consider donating to my channel through the super thanks option below. Or you can consider joining our private Discord where you can access multiple subscriptions to different AI tools for free on a monthly basis. plus daily AI news and exclusive content, plus a lot more. But that's basically, guys, for today's video on superpowers. I personally believe that it is going to be a game changer for many of us because it doesn't just give AI specs, it runs the entire engineering workflow for us. That is something that you saw with whatever I developed from beginning to brainstorming to all the way to having a plan and breaking out tasks into subagents. This is something that will keep the model focused, reduces hallucination, and produces better quality output. So I'll leave all these links in the description below so that you can easily get started. But with that thought, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you take a look at our newsletter. Join the second channel by subscribing. Follow me on the Patreon as well as on Twitter, as well as subscribing to the YouTube channel. Make sure you turn on the notification bell, like this video, and please take a look at our previous videos so that you can stay up to date with the latest AI news. But with that thought, guys, have an amazing day, spread positivity, and I'll see you guys fairly shortly. Peace out, fellas.